Hello, I am a millionaire from Nigeria, and I have teamed up with other group of millionaires from around the world to bring to an end this awful scamdemic within a short few weeks from now. Getting microchip because of a global deception that shut down the entire world in 2020 won't benefit the rich, and it most certainly will not benefit the poor either. Rich and poor alike, we must come together to expose all of the lies associated with this grand deception, leading humanity into the horrors of a transhuman society, and stop this evil agenda from destroying the human race. We have no other choice but to unite, because the few most powerful people have set the course for our destruction so that they could play God. But these are not God. And through our unification, we will defeat these evil groups of men, and justice will prevail. We must unite now. They have given us no other choice. If not, they will pick us up one by one until no resistance to their evil plan remains, and humanity goes down into the night and never returns. Noitulover is a website dedicated to uniting humanity so that we can get back to the real normal and forget about the old or the new abnormal. And forget about the new abnormal. As millionaires, we will do our part. We will keep this series of Zoom meetings running 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. All you have to do is sign people up for free and bring them here to these ongoing meetings, and then connect with us. We can offer each of you some time, even one-on-one time. We have the roadmap to wealth and prosperity. All you have to do is ask, and we will share what we know that works to lift anyone up financially. Even the poorest person in the world could be lifted out of that poverty. And so I welcome you to our Noitulover training. Today is September 12th, 2020. And according to the time of our website server, it is 7 a.m. We have come together today to celebrate you as an individual, and by the end of this training, you will sing a new song. All right. Here we recognize that you each were born free. Yes, you have free will, the power to choose. And so you gotta sin. When you came out of your mother's womb, you had two legs, which gave you the right to travel. Also, you came out with a mouth and the right to speak. And so, you got to sing. You are unique. No two even have identical fingerprints. And that makes you priceless and beautiful. So, celebrate that by singing. While the world may have forgotten how valuable you are as a unique individual, we have come here today to celebrate how valuable you are and how much each of us need you. Noitulover was created to empower you to fully secure your right to be free, to a right to express yourself without fear of being harmed for doing so. All of us are unknown to each other, with perhaps the exception of the person that invited you to join Noitulover. This allowed each of our unique ideas to be shared with each other without prejudice. We also come together with the intent to unite with one another in the spirit of love. This is a revolution. And isn't it interesting that when the word revolution is spelled backward, it contains within it the word love? Know, it, you, love, and are. It's love that binds us together. Our personal freedom matters, and we can support each other in mutual benefit, and that brings freedom for all. Sometimes lies are so forceful that they compel people to believe in them. You may be new to this social media platform and may believe the lies about COVID-19. You may not be ready to accept that COVID-19 is a scamdemic designed to rob humanity of its right to be free. Our blog shares documentations to help you reason out the truth. You may need to suspend your current beliefs about COVID-19 long enough to see this other point of view. Just keep an open mind and use some critical thinking when it comes to this whole thing. It has seriously disrupted important supply chains such as food and energy. Was this response to COVID-19 necessary? Because humanity as a whole is paying for the cost of this severe response. This is a scripted monologue, but I promise you that after I give you a little tour of our website, we will have a Q&A session. We want you to speak up and share your thoughts too. We are interested in what you have to say. And as a host of this training, I will do my very best to maintain the spirit of love within the training. This social media platform gives you the tools to build up your influence in the world. That way, more people can benefit from what you have to give to others. It also will allow each of us to group together and develop organizations that can make a difference in the world. The more you use the tools on this website, the more you become powerful within the world. Some want to be followers, while others want to become leaders. We need both in this world to operate effectively. I am going to share my screen with you at this point. When you log into Noitulover, you will land on the home page. And the first thing that will grab your attention is the list of influencers. All right? These are influencers listed here. All these are influencers. All right? These are all influencers. Okay. The first thing that you should do is to send contact requests to all of the influencers listed here. I've already done that, and that is why you don't see any chat icon on the list of my influencers. This is what a chat icon looks like here. It will just appear right here, and when you click on it, it will just open a dialog box here. All right? When you click on it, it will send off and it will disappear. The chat icon will disappear from here. Influencers are both friendly and helpful. They can assist you in developing your influence on this website. The truth is, the more influence you have, the more you get what you want out of this world. This number here shows how many people the influencer could reach. So be sure to connect with each of them on the list, and you'll be glad you did. To officially become a Noitulover influencer, you have to beat this timer here. Look at this timer. You must sign up 2 people before the timer hits 0. And you can get your influencer status at the bottom of the page. This is your influencer status here. All right? It only takes about 3 minutes of work to invite 10 people. I'm going to demonstrate that very shortly. First, you copy the YouTube link, then memorize your own code. You can find your code on the profile page. All right. Got it? So, your username is also your code. So, when you copy that, you go to Facebook or wherever and paste the YouTube link in the private chat and type in your code and invite your 10 closest friends. All right? Let me ask you, what is it all about? And then you just keep your answers as simple as possible. Because the more you say, the more they will think you are trying to sell them on it. Just say something like, it's a place that smart people are going, and that I thought that you were smart enough to be a part of it too. Join if you want. It doesn't matter to me either way. The no pressure approach is always best. If they ask you about the 300, then say, the committee of 300 locked down the whole world, and they think they run the world in the way they do. But that's only because most people are too ignorant to do anything about it. These are not good people. Tell them. It's easy to sign up. All you need to do is set a password, and that is it. A unique 6-digit code will be assigned to you as your username. This small amount of effort is all that is needed to get you started on building up your influence. As you can see on this table, look at this table, what I call the table of influence. Look at this table here. All right. So when everyone duplicates this 3-minute process, your influence grows exponentially. Good luck to all of you on becoming influencers. So I'm going to take you through the practical step of becoming an influencer. The first thing is you highlight this YouTube link, but this is the YouTube video, very short, that you are to send to your friends to watch. Smart people are gathering right now. We're excited to watch this video. One of us must think you are smart enough to be a part of what we are doing to improve the use of our lives. A new social media platform was just launched, where everyone on it is anonymous, which allows You're welcome. Each of us to speak freely. We recognize the power that comes from gathering smart people together. This is not a business opportunity, and using this anonymous social media platform is free of charge. There is another group of 300 people that also think they are pretty smart, and they think they can overpower 7.5 billion people. We disagree with what these 300 people are doing, and how obvious the destruction is to each of our lives, and their plans have impacted the whole of humanity. Their approach is deception, and our approach is truth. Smart people gather to protect each other, and if you want to chat with us, you can. You can speak freely because we won't know who you are, and you won't know who we are either. This allows ideas to flow freely without fear of being harmed personally. We hope you are interested in what other smart people think, and we're excited to hear what you think. Ask questions now if you're ready. All right. So, you're welcome, sir.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
All right. Let's continue. I'll just do this briefly, then we'll now enter Q&A session briefly.
Okay.
I'll just copy this YouTube link here, then go to Facebook. When I get to Facebook, I will go to Messenger, then see all. Then I'll search in Messenger for friends. All right. So click on it, then paste, and then send. Then I'll come back to Noitulover, then go to invite code. Click on invite code, then copy code. Then click here, close, then come here and paste, then send. So at this point, I will not go back to Noitulover again. I'll highlight the YouTube link from the one I have sent already, then copy. I'll paste it here. Then I'll space it twice. Then I will highlight the invite code. then copy,
Number is
then paste it. Then I'll highlight the two together now and cut.
no, number is
All right, then I'll come to search for a friend now. All right, then paste, and then I'll send. So both the YouTube link and the invite code is sent at once.
Yes.
Can you mute your mic, please?
Oh, sorry.
Then send. And I'll search here. Paste. Then send. I'll search here. Paste. Send. Search. I'll paste it here. Send. Search. Paste. Send. I'll search. Send. Search. Paste. Send. Search. Paste. Then send. Yes, I give a considerable time to the invite during the training because that is the essence of this platform. Paste. Then send. I'll search. Paste. And send. Search. Okay, I've sent to this already. Paste and send. Paste here. Then send. So that is all about the process of inviting your friends to join you in Noitulover. Noitulover is a platform that is out to unite humanity for a common goal. And what is that common goal? Freedom for all. So let's go back to Noitulover. Let me close Facebook now. So let me take you to explore the available tools here. This is the home page. This is the profile page. This is the blog icon. This is the chat icon. This is the invite icon. And then this is the logout icon. So let's go to profile page. All right. If you're having a hard time remembering your password, then you can insert your email address here for the purpose of forgot password only. This website respects your privacy and will not spam you or share your email with any other third party. It's optional for those that forget things. You can also place a pin on the map close to where you live so that you can connect with other people from the same country. So at this point now, I'm going to demonstrate that by resetting my location. Look at it. First of all, my location is Nigeria, okay? But I'm going to click on reset location, and then that location will disappear and it will become empty. All right. Let me show you that. You can see now that my location is now empty. If you are a new member, the moment you join, this place will be empty until you set your location on the map. So I'm going to demonstrate that now by going to the map, go to the map of Africa, then zoom in on Nigeria, zoom in on Nigeria, zoom in close to where I live. All right, Lokoja. Okay, right. And then I'll just click Save Changes. Wow, account profile successfully updated. And then let's look at my location now. You can see that now that my location is set as Nigeria. So let's go to the blog icon. This is the blog icon. Click on it and take a look. The best thing to do is to read the first blog post and then work your way down to the most recent blog post. In that way, you see that the information here built on itself in a logical fashion. So let's look at it. This is the first blog post. Let's look at the analogy of the two pills. The blue pill of ignorance, that is wishful ignorance, ignorance and deception, and then the red pill of love, truth, and awareness. Ignorance of the plan of the Committee of 300 is the most dangerous thing in the world of 2020, and I will explain why that is in this article. The Committee of 300 are counting on most people in the world to remain blue-pilled, living a life ignorant of their plans for humanity. But we, on the other hand, are those red-pilled, okay? And are fully aware of the destructive plans of the Committee of 300. We are counting on your instinct of self-preservation. We don't want them to ruin your life or ours. All right? I'm going to show you. Let me connect an external speaker so that the volume can come out well. And then I'm going to click on this.
Although it isn't uncommon to use pills as symbols for certain states of awareness, the best known example is a scene from the movie The Matrix. In this scene, the protagonist Neo is offered a red pill and a blue pill. By swallowing the blue pill, one remains in blissful ignorance. But by swallowing the red pill, one is exposed to the brutal truth of life. Throughout the years, people began to attribute more meaning to the red and blue pill, and even expanded the philosophy with several other colored pills, like the black pill and the purple pill. In this three-part series, I will talk about these pills, starting with the blue pill and red pill, served with a bit of Schopenhauer. A blue-pilled person lives in an illusion. This illusion shields people from seeing the world for what it really is. Those in power could consciously provide blue pills to dumb down the herd. But on grassroots level, people also, unconsciously, provide blue pills sideways and even bottom up, when the masses take illusion as reality. Simply put, one becomes blue-pilled through nurture. When a majority of people is attached to a certain belief system, it's incredibly difficult to change their minds. The Matrix movie shows us that most people that are plugged into the Matrix aren't ready for the truth. Moreover, when their reality is challenged, they will resist. Mostly after great tragedy, one begins to awaken and starts to question all previously accepted realities about this world and realizes that he or she has been living in a lie. This realization often brings about an emotional reaction, which is called the red pill rage. Some stay in that rage forever, while others come to terms with reality. Red pill knowledge contains tons of information about different subjects. People spread this knowledge and their own experiences and observations to teach others what they have learned. Other people's knowledge can be used as a compass, a torch that illuminates the path to our own experienced truth. We see the world through new eyes, eyes that we have never used before. And it's only when we become aware and now see and experience ourselves these things that others told us that the red pill truly kicks in. Although I think that red pill knowledge can be valuable, there is a caution before tumbling down the rabbit hole. The red pill may pull off our blue pill glasses, but it doesn't necessarily lead to truth. German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer distinguished a natural way of learning, which is done solely through our own experiences, and an artificial way, which is, and I quote, to hear what other people say, to learn and to read, and so to get your head crammed full of general ideas, before you have any sort of extended acquaintance with the world as it is, and as you may see it for yourself. End quote. Schopenhauer believed that we hardly apply these ideas in a right manner. By gaining ideas first and personal experiences last, we basically put the cart before the horse. I quote, instead of developing the child's own faculties of discernment and teaching it to judge and think for itself, the teacher uses all his energies to stuff its head full of the ready-made thoughts of other people, the mistaken views of life, which spring from a false application of general ideas, have afterwards to be corrected by long years of experience, and it is seldom that they are wholly corrected. End quote. If, instead of removing the veil of ignorance through personal experience, we attach ourselves to belief systems that other people throw at us, we basically go from the frying pan into the freezer. Moreover, we run the risk to feel threatened when these newly adopted ideas are challenged. Schopenhauer also described this, and I quote, he will begin by rejecting the evidence it offers as partial and one-sided. Nay, he will shut his eyes to it altogether and deny that it stands in any contradiction at all with his preconceived notions, in order that he may thus preserve them uninjured. End quote. Ironically, this man finds himself, again, in the same position that he tried to free himself from, which is the position of ignorance. When it comes to red pill knowledge, I would always separate belief from empirical knowledge and treat this knowledge as it is, a collection of data retrieved in a certain moment from a certain source. I think it's fine to take notion of this data as long as we stay receptive for life experiences, especially those experiences that challenge our beliefs retrieved by the artificial way of learning. What I personally hold in much higher esteem is something called red pill awareness. This is the act of keeping our eyes open, paying good attention to the world and thinking for ourselves, instead of just having adopted a fixed set of beliefs that put our awareness and curiosity back to sleep. If we continuously adopt large amounts of predominantly negative ideas about the world, from TV, newspapers, internet forums, social media, YouTube videos, and other external sources, we might become so miserable that we decide to shut the door forever. Instead of experiencing life, we wallow away in the abyss we have built for ourselves and deny everything that contradicts our convictions. In that case, we have become doomers. So, I will talk some more about pills in the second episode of this three-part series. This episode appears in the near future, and I will dedicate it to the black pill and the clown world. Thank you for watching.
All right. Okay. Sir, please, can you, at this point, comment what you have seen from this video and whatever you think is in your mind to share with us? The floor is open, sir. Are you there? You can unmute yourself now. Unmute yourself now. Hello? Just unmute yourself and then share what you have with us. All right. Let me continue. Let me continue.
The problem is quite simple. Anarchy and chaos prevails in Washington, D.C. because the federal government has seized powers to which it is not entitled to and is passing masses of laws that are 100% unconstitutional. And when you get men setting themselves up as greater than the Constitution of the United States, you get anarchy and eventually tyranny. It's taken me 25 years to come to the conclusion that I have come to. And I want to tell you that one of the biggest things I discovered in my work was the existence of a supranational committee composed of 300 men. I came across this quite by accident when I was serving in Africa in Angola, and I was given a series of documents which were only supposed to be handed in to top-level people. They were what we call above the top level of classification of intelligence documents. And there I discovered that whilst I thought I was in Africa fighting against the invasion of the communists, I was in fact fighting to introduce socialist regimes in the black African countries, and that I was actually working for a committee called the Committee of 300, also known in intelligence circles as the Olympians. They had so much money, which is the outcome of the drug trade, the years of investing, the years of gaining control of every mining, mineral, gold, oil, natural resource of the world, that they can afford to finance these things. So the black nobility are the ancient aristocrats of Venice and Genoa, and they called that because of the nature of their deeds. The black Guelphs were one of the worst of them. Now, interesting enough, the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth II, is a Guelph. She's not a Windsor. This is a title that was evolved in 1935 by her father to put researchers off the track. I like to include myself in that category, although I wasn't doing it then. I was much too young to be doing it. But he didn't like that certain people were getting hot on the track of who this royal family actually was. And so This was put out that they are the House of Windsor. They are not. They're the House of Guelph. And it's important for us to know that, because every time there's a financial crisis, it follows the meeting of the Black Guelphs upon the Royal Britannia yacht of the Queen of England, which anchors off the coast of Venice. And all the world bankers meet over there and say, now, this is what we're going to do to country X. This is how we're going to control this worldwide situation. And then they go off and give their orders to everybody. So that is the way it is done. I told you earlier that they controlled the United States. Even in the days of President Lincoln, they had him assassinated on the orders of Disraeli. And they then, of course, in later years, were able to elect one of the worst socialists we've ever had the misfortune to suffer under, Woodrow Wilson. Wilson was elected by a ploy. Of course, they got Teddy Roosevelt and the Bull Moose Party running as a supposedly third candidate to siphon votes off so that Wilson could be elected as a socialist president. Now, our eyes have been fixed on Moscow. We've been led down the garden path, ladies and gentlemen. All of the time we've been looking at Moscow, and we've been told what demons they are in Moscow. Rightly so. But all the time this was going on, the Trojan horse of socialism in Washington, D.C. has been stealing our country away from us. Now, in case you don't know MI6, it is the most powerful and the oldest of all intelligence agencies in the world. They taught the CIA. They taught the Vatican intelligence. They taught the French intelligence. They taught the Mossad. They taught the Cheka. Captain Hill of MI6 went out and set up the Mossad. And Captain Hill went to Russia and helped the Bolsheviks set up their single-cell apparatus.
They're going to lose $15 to $20 billion every year they get from the American taxpayers. And Brian Gumbel says, what are you talking about? They only get $3 billion. And I said, Brian, that's only the foreign aid bill. Look at all the other trade compacts, economic assistance, military assistance. I'm saying this to you right now. Israel gets approximately $15 billion a year from the American taxpayers. That $15 billion is $30,000 for every man, woman, and child. And people in my district are losing their pension benefits. So I was targeted big time.
By the Israelis.
The Israeli Supreme Court looked at the evidence, could not refute it. And it came from the Justice Department, Greta. And they said, take him home. I brought him home, and he was bombarded ever since.
Home to Ohio.
Now he's in Germany fighting for his life.
Do you hear that?
And joining us from Ipswich, the former MI5 agent, David Shaler. David, is this the end of the conspiracy theories?
I don't think so, because it's very unlikely the Stevens report will come to definitive conclusions about certain evidence. The actual white Fiat Uno that was spotted hitting the black Mercedes in the tunnel has never been traced. A white Fiat Uno was traced to a paparazzo who was there on the day, someone called James Anderson. But he was found some months later, 250 miles from his home, in a burnt-out car. Now, the French concluded that was suicide, but suspicious people like me would say that has all the hallmarks of an intelligence service assassination. And certainly, he was telling his friends that he knew about the death of Princess Diana. There'll always be question marks as well about why the CCTV cameras on the French roads were not working that night. And why, for example, Mohammed Al-Fayed, somebody tried to sell Mohammed Al-Fayed fake documents implicating the CIA and MI6. This is a guy called Oswald Lewinter, who I know was an MI6 disinformation agent. And that's what's known as a straw man operation, to tempt Mohammed Al-Fayed to using those documents to prove his case. But of course, when they were proved to be fakes, the whole case would have fallen apart. But I think the British people can see through these things as well. We've got to bear in mind the Hutton inquiry was an absolute whitewash. The Scott report in the 1990s into arms in Iraq gathered loads of very convincing evidence that there was wrongdoing. But the conclusions of these reports always give the intelligence service a clean bill of health, no matter what. There is a lot of evidence that the Stevens inquiry won't be able to deal with, to do with things like, I say, the White Fear 2 note, the fact that Henri Paul was working for other intelligence services, the fact that the Mercedes itself was replaced at the last minute. We're expected to believe that a brand new Mercedes wouldn't start and was replaced with another one. So Tom Bauer's arguments about they wouldn't have had time to plan this, they could have quite easily done that. And we know that Princess Diana was to go to Palestine and start campaigning on behalf of the Palestinian people. And of course, she took the world's media wherever she went. That would have meant that Israel, the state of Israel, would have been embarrassed to have cameras from the world's media showing how they are oppressing the Palestinian people. And they simply couldn't tolerate that. The only question really is who killed her. Was it Mossad or was it MI6?
And there are those that are killed because they know too much and attempt to expose the Zionist agenda, such as Dr. David Kelly, who had worked on ethnic-specific biological weapons for Israel and who was working to expose the agenda before his murder. You understand that?
Now, some of the country's top medical and legal experts are demanding a full inquest into the death of the government weapons inspector, Dr. David Kelly. Lord Huffman's report into the cause of Dr. Kelly's death found he died after cutting his wrist, but the signatories of a letter to the Times insist that conclusion is unsafe. They say in their letter it's extremely unlikely from a medical perspective that the primary cause of death would or could have been hemorrhage from a severed ulnar artery in one wrist without any evidence of a blood clotting deficiency. Well, Dr. David Kelly was found dead in woods near his Oxfordshire home in July 2003 after he was exposed as the source for a BBC report questioning the grounds for the Iraq War. In August that year, an inquest into his death was adjourned and it was never reopened. Lord Huffman took over the investigation of the death and returned his findings in 2004. In January this year, it emerged that Lord Huffman secretly classified all medical and scientific records on Dr. Kelly for 70 years.
So, why the ban for 70 years? Who is going to open the case after that?
The Human Genome Project is a worldwide collaboration of scientists who are aiming to map where the different genes are within the human chromosomes, what they actually do, what they code for, what they produce as an effect within the body of each of us as individuals. The Human Genetic Diversity Project is trying to collect information on the similarities and differences in different ethnic groups. They are therefore producing information about the different spread of normal genes in different populations.
Scientists collaborating in the Genetic Diversity Project have already identified a genetic marker present in the DNA of Palestinians, but not in
I think there's lots of audio there.
Lactose is different between the Asian and European populations. If you then add in blood groups, ABO blood groups, very different distributions. If you also add in height, skin color, and so on, you start to be able to become specific to your target population.
Once all these genetic markers have been identified, a virus could be designed to look for them on entering the body. It would scan the DNA of cells, looking for the markers. If it finds them, it inserts itself into the host DNA and starts the process of infection. In this way, the virus would be targeted to attack only people who have the right genetic markers.
And you see that?
The British Medical Association believed that in the next 10 years, a lethal germ might be created that could select its victims by genetic characteristics. A biological agent that could successfully wipe out entire groups in society. The world's first ethnic weapon.
Is that not a biological weapon? Wow. They are gone.
An organism that could target specific people would mark the coming of age of biological weapons. For the first time, there would be no risk of infection to the aggressor. More useful than a nuclear bomb, it would leave land, buildings, and your own troops untouched. And as the proliferation of nuclear technology has shown, once the knowledge is available, it is almost impossible to contain.
With British Prime Minister Lloyd George up against a wall, Lionel Rothschild and the Jewish Zionists offered the British a deal they couldn't refuse. "We'll bring the United States into the war as your ally and win the war for you," they said, "if you'll promise us Palestine." In April of 1917, President Wilson got the green light and declared war on Germany. Because of overwhelming opposition to the war, Wilson invoked the draft and passed the Espionage Act, forcing Americans to fight or be thrown in jail. Billions of U.S. taxpayers' money was delivered to the British war machine, money that was never repaid. In return, the British government wrote the famous Balfour Declaration and addressed it to none other than Lord Lionel Rothschild. The declaration promised Palestine and Israel to the Rothschild Zionists.
Can you see that? So all these information resources that are available to you on this platform. So let me take you to the last icon here that we need to explore, which is the chat icon. At first, you will only be able to chat with your sponsor, but the moment you sign up your friends, you'll be able to chat with them too, automatically. And every other person, it has to be through reaching out to them through contact requests. All right? And before you know it, you have a long list of friends to chat with. This social media platform is a new one, and it started at the beginning of July 2020. We are off to a fast start at gathering humanity and getting this important message out to all of them before it is too late. We are fighting for the survival of the species, of our species as human beings. Each of us are beautiful in our own unique way, and we should keep it that way. We don't need to connect with the hive mind of AI. That's how we would lose our humanity. So, be sure to take 3 minutes to change the world by signing up 2 of your friends. And duplicating that will change the whole world for the better. So encourage them to attend this training once they are signed up. It helps us to grow much faster. I say thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening. Let's start the Q&A session now. Please, you can unmute yourself and then share what you have in mind with us. In this chat here, I can see, thank you, looking forward to socializing. All right? And then I'll respond and say, You are welcome. And send. This is how simple it is to share on this platform. Yeah, it's time for Q&A, please. You can unmute yourself and share with us what you have in mind. Hello, are you there?
Yes, moderator, I'm here.
All right, please share with us what you have in mind now.
Yeah, good morning once again.
Morning.
I don't know how much, I would like to know exactly what part the royal family in England is playing in this committee of 300.
All right.
Because they mentioned that with some other royalties in the world.
Well, when you talk about the royal family of England, they are actually the fulcrum, the nucleus of the committee of 300. Everything revolves around them. In other words, the chairperson of the committee is the Queen of England.
Okay, that is very interesting because it's necessary to highlight that particular point because everybody believes that since she's a woman, she cannot be involved in a devilish group like this Luciferians, this committee of 300.
Well,
now specifically,
yes,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Specifically again, I want to ask again, the Pope in Rome, what part does he play here? Does he play any part in this committee of 300?
Yes. Now, what they do, the Pope is also an integral part of the committee of 300. The reason is because in the committee, they have assigned responsibility to themselves. The religious entity is under the watch of the Pope. Just like Bill Gates is under the watch of the internet as well as the technology entity. And then the Rothschild, they are in charge of the banking and others. So they give each of the members an entity to handle. So in the case of the Pope, he's in charge of the religious entity.
We know that Saudi Arabia is the religious home of the Muslims.
Of Islam, yes.
What part does the king of Saudi Arabia play in this group, if any?
Of course, you know they are all part of this. They are all part of this this game. But you know, ordinarily, you see that the Christians and the Muslims are always at loggerhead. But you know that the Pope and the King of Saudi Arabia are friends.
Very interesting, isn't it? Yeah, you can see how they are deceiving the whole world.
Yes.
That is exactly why I want to point this out so that it will be specifically mentioned.
These
that,
people, they have the whole world in their grip.
Yes.
Go ahead.
But underneath, they plant a seed of discord that the people can be killing themselves, thinking that they are enemies.
And they are on the same table, dining and whining.
Yes, while in reality, their leaders are in a group, whining and dining, as you have said,
yeah,
and planning how to decimate the population of the world.
Exactly.
And the humanity of us.
Yes.
So it's a very important part, like a factor that people must bear in mind, because people don't know that. They don't know that there is a place where these forces unite to perpetrate evil.
Yeah.
You know, it's unbelievable. Look at the forces we are mentioning now.
Yes.
These are the people at the helm of affairs in the whole world.
And they
And they are the ones.
They remote control the entire global affair.
Yes, exactly, because they partition the world among themselves.
Yes.
And each and every one of them has particular parts of the world that he controls.
Definitely.
And exerts influence, so that on that area, everybody in that area believes and trusts them, while in reality they are very untrustworthy and devilish.
Whatever you say that is contrary to their own opinion, the world will not even accept you.
Not accept, you are gone. They don't discuss with you. They make sure you are
eliminated.
They are gone. They are no more existing.
Yeah.
Isn't it very interesting?
Sure.
So thank you, and moderator. I thank you for this session. I will have to log out now because I have another meeting.
That's all right. Thank you very much. It's a nice session with you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let me
Thank you.
my screen sharing now.